What's going on out there, everybody? We back with you with another episode of No Feelings, Just Facts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm your own Clevonne with Miss Tosha V, Mr. Ron in the house.
Hey,
we got a special guest joining the scene with us today. A young stud.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Flew in, named Daniel.
Old bull.
Hey, yeah.
Old bull.
Got him on the scene. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
Oh, we doing good. We're doing good. You
good,
can't be
man.
talking too sexy now.
I'm not trying
Speaking
to.
to the microphone so they can hear you. All right,
They
so
called me Taylor P when I was little.
put your mic close, bro.
Get the mic
Come
close
on.
to
I'm
you.
sorry.
Yeah. He
I'm
want
sorry.
to act like he all
I'm
that
brand
right
new.
now.
I've never
Pay
done this before.
attention.
I'm
Pay
sorry.
attention. Pay
Yes.
attention.
Yes, sir.
But today we talking about moving on. There's a lot of different issues when it come down to moving on.
Right.
Because a lot of us, I'm going to jump on this real quick. How many of y'all done got some bad relationships and try to get in another one?
Me.
And then the cold part about it is when you go look for another relationship, it's some bullshit out here.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah.
No, all right, for real. I don't know. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. The thing with trying to move on, man, it is tough. First of all, your relationship is already jacked up, so that's already a challenge. Then you go out here and you trying to find somebody else. Okay, we all scared or whatever. But I feel like I need to go to some of my old methods of how I used to do with the church or something. You know, pop up at funerals and just show face. Just show
Wait a
face.
minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
Just show
wait.
face.
Are
And,
you
know.
fishing out there? You
Hey,
fishing?
let me tell you
He's
something. The
fishing at funerals.
Hey, let me tell y'all something real quick. Now, I would preach funerals. I preach a funeral. But then after I get done preaching a funeral, you know, I mean, there's always that one there that need a lot of attention.
yeah.
Some comfort.
You damn right.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure. They got their blessing that evening. So I would show up to a
Suck it
lot
like
of
a neck
funerals. What you say?
Suck it like
That's
a
how
neck
suck it
bone.
like a neck bone. Rage in Harlem, we just watched. In the funeral home, that's the scene. Yeah, he making sure.
Hey, for real though. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. Moving on ain't easy. I'm just gonna go here.
Okay.
Somebody told me go get on the dating site, right? So I get my stupid ass on the dating site. Now I went on, what is it? Elite, Match.
Cheated affairs.
I didn't do Tinder because
Yeah,
a
Tinder was
couple
cool.
church members, I seen their name on there, and I seen plenty of fish. On plenty of fish with a couple church members. So I ain't submit my name on those.
What happened to Tag?
What's Tag?
Tag was like when you wake up, it's an app you put on your phone, and then the women will come up and you say yes. Yes.
Serious?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it was called Tag.
I know at school
and
we
then
played
if you
tag.
if you said yes, you can respond farther to that person and be able to.
And how do you
Well,
know
see,
about
with this
that?
tag, you can get
Really?
close.
I had it.
They didn't. Wait. No, because I'm finna pull his card. They didn't have tag 17 years ago.
No, buddy.
And you've been married 17 years.
They had Tag.
What was your stripping game, partner? Yeah, wait.
I was trying to see if she wanted to go to Lorenzo Park and fly the kite.
Go feed the ducks in Lorenzo Park. That's what we used to do when we was little.
together.
That's what we used to do.
Well, hey, look, for me personally, though, and I forgot this other one called Elite something. Like, it's supposed to be for all professionals. So I jump on there, right? And I'm looking on the professional side. I'm like, man, there's some bad chicks on here. I'm going to find my kids a stepmama.
Oh, wow.
Man, it's the same broad from Match, the other one on Plenty of Fish, all them on
my
there, too.
goodness.
How the hell you get on here? I paid my subscription.
It's called networking.
Exactly.
You paid to.
Yeah, I paid
you
the
didn't do the free
subscription.
stuff yet.
Hell no, I ain't doing
Yeah,
it
I
because
like
I
to
wanted
do
to
the
get the
free
good
ones.
quality, man, but I
Right.
see a lot of it is still bullshit.
Yeah.
Man, it is
So
hard.
how many dates did you have on them?
I ain't
sites?
had none.
You
'Cause
didn't go on any of them dates?
No. I tried to. I really tried to. Listen, I messaged a couple women, right? I did. I messaged them, you know, how you doing? I ain't hit them with the Umar, you know, Dr. Umar and shit. Blesses my queen.
Grand Rising.
All I did was, you know, you message them or whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the lady I messaged, I'm like, you know, she hit me with, I can discern some things about you. I'm like, okay, you got a evangelist spirit over here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
Wow.
it. She hit me with a 4-page letter.
Oh, no, we
I
ain't
don't
got
play
time for
those
that.
games. How dare you offend me? Who do you think you are?
So she
I was
switched
like,
up.
I was looking through her psych records. I was trying to check California. I was like, where was she admitted at?
Oh, my
I
God.
She
understand.
read your spirit.
Yes, dude, there's some weird ass people out here, dog.
He did, that went over his head.
No, I know. I know she shot me down. I ain't want nothing but just a taste.
She read that spirit.
Just let me see.
Just a taste.
Just let
Yeah,
me see.
just a taste. I just want a little taste.
That's
So
it.
wait, Tosh. Now wait, how is it for you? Like actually going through a dating site? Like how is that?
I got married off one.
Ooh,
How did it work?
Ooh.
How did it work?
I was
Ooh.
married for 10 years. I met my ex on the dating site.
Ooh,
So it worked for me.
it was a great marriage.
You know what? I
She
ain't
moved
staying
pineapples.
on.
I
She
ain't
moved on.
with pineapples.
She moved on.
Orange sherbet.
Yeah, she moved on. She was
No,
like, gotta
but
go.
but it worked for me, and after that, it wasn't my thing. It wasn't.
So
my
you
thing.
just didn't want to do it no more.
Ooh.
What?
Let me speak. Let me speak.
Go ahead.
Something just popped in my head.
What?
You ever heard of this thing called Facebook dating, right?
Well, you got to go to the mic. Dude.
Okay, have you ever heard of Facebook dating, right?
I seen it.
I heard.
Okay,
I
I
seen
ain't
it.
heard.
I seen it.
It's like you can like do Facebook dating.
Yeah.
Now I want to bring this to the public because it's something I thought personally. A lot of women on there, right? And I find this funny myself, just as a human being. Do you know that women will, right? Let's get into this conversation. She's talking about dating sites.
Go ahead.
Women will put on their, like you said, I'm not playing any games. I don't want a one night stand.
Right.
Let's stop right there for a second. Why would you rather tell anybody that out loud? Because if you're not into something like that, you don't want that to happen.
Why they
you
on
ain't
Facebook
you ain't
dating?
got on your
You
profile.
got to publicize it.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you love the Lord. Okay. Right? Because you're going to say that too. I'm just saying. It's very common. Right? It's very common. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
What is that? Because it let me say, like, I ain't no one night stand, but you can come fuck me tonight if you want to. It's kind of like that's what it's saying.
That's what it
No,
is.
it's real talk. Hey, man, it is hard as hell. The one that killed me is this. The ones that take the nice pictures, was she cute? Was she got hella shit on her sink?
Oh, Lord
Or the
Jesus.
one that got the bed sitting on the
And
damn
no-
floor
and no
with no
rails.
fucking rails.
Yeah.
Like, that is not cute. That ain't sexy.
Cute. That ain't cute.
Y'all on women, but let's talk about the man that put up the picture, and you can tell that's his mama furniture in the background. Let's
Wait,
not.
they be doing that? They be doing that?
Where you get a record player from?
That couch is a floral, brother. I know you didn't
Hey,
go buy no
Roll
floral
Rolls
couch.
on it from the thrift store,
No,
too.
he ain't got no mixer like that. His mama had a mixer like that when I went over his house.
Yeah,
You get
exactly,
equalizer
man. It was a
from.
chick that hit me up, man. Hey, check this out. It was a chick that hit me up. Now, I had to really look into filters, right? Because I'm like, damn, she bad as hell. Man, but, I didn't pay attention to the filter. And, man, when I looked at it, because I used to rent apartments to different people, we housed them.
Right.
And, man, this broad in the straight studio, man, and I looked to the back, it was kind of like I looked, and it was some roach doo-doo on the wall.
Roast doodle.
Roach doo-doo, because we had a lot of roaches growing up. Yeah, it was a lot of roaches.
Roach you
little-
can stick on a wall?
Yeah, they little
bro,
black
the
pebbles.
little
They little
dots, little brown
dots,
dots.
yeah.
That's
Oh.
all roast doo-doo.
The rose do the.
Hey,
And you can
Shane,
see
that's
them
my
dredging.
No, fool, that's roast
bed
doo-doo.
bugs.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, dog, we ain't never had no bed bugs. You know how many
Yeah.
kids my mama had in the house.
I've seen in my career, but I didn't know roach shit could stick to a wall.
No, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
All the
'cause
little
they come
stuff,
out
man.
moist.
Yeah, the little,
It comes
the
out
little,
moist.
bro, the little brown dots on the wall is roast
Wait,
doo-doo.
Ron said it's moist.
Yeah, it comes
Well,
out
you know, you
moist.
must have played
Like
it. I
Duncan
didn't
Hines.
know.
Like this.
It says moist.
Yeah, bro. Hey, for
Wow.
real. Hey, my biggest thing is the challenge of moving on, of trying to find what you're looking for. Because most women will tell me this, right? They'll say, "Hey, you good, you good looking, you have money or whatever." I'm like, dude, it ain't that easy for a man to just go slay 10 women out of 10 on the same day. They want me to take them to breakfast, take them over there to meet their daddy. They want to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But if a woman walk in Walmart and say, "Hey, y'all, I got some cat," 10 out of 10 is gonna.
Well, first of all,
Come
the 10
on.
out of 10 already knew that to begin with.
Yeah, exactly,
Off the rip.
exactly. But come on, are they?
So
gonna,
you're trying to really say you never crossed any women that wasn't easy?
No, it ain't about them being easy. I've crossed women that were easy, but I'm just saying, just hypothetical. If I go into a building right now, right? Just if I go into any store or whatever, and I go in there and flash money, how many women out of 10 is going to come throw themselves at me and say, "Come do me in the
A
car"?
lot of them. A lot of
10,
women throw
10.
themselves at a
They
man just
throw
because.
themselves at a man, but
Yeah.
if it's different, if I'm at a concert, I'm in a show or something like that.
The thing is, you're a gentleman and you finesse hoes. Let's be honest.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
But you're
Oh,
a gentleman, so
all
you
right.
don't know how to let a hoe just be a hoe. You try to
Oh,
make her
I
a woman.
love it.
Welcome
I
to the
so
stripper
did.
game, partner.
So
I
what it
love
is,
it.
Yeah.
you come across these women and you give them this A1 treatment they're not familiar with, and you upgrade their whole lifestyle, and then you be like,
Well,
oh,
not
women
the whole
want to.
lifestyle, but I
yes,
got
you
you.
do. Yes, you do.
Oh, I
you buy
do?
furniture.
No, get your ass
You
out of
have
here.
said that.
I've only
You said
done
that
that
on
for
this
two
show.
women.
Burger
You said
King,
that.
Chick-fil-A.
I did
What
that
I'm
for two
saying
women.
is you upgrade their lifestyle,
You're right.
right? And then they don't know how to act because you're giving them shit they're not used to,
True.
never had to
I'm
work
guilty
for.
of it.
Never had to work for, and then
Yeah.
you get burnt in the end or whatever it is, and then you be like, all women are just after money. No,
I didn't say that.
Are you a
I
sugar daddy? Is she speaking of?
No,
Pretty
no.
much.
He's,
No,
he
first of
himself
all,
on this show
I'm in a rookie season,
has
bastard.
said it's not tricking if you got it.
It ain't tricking if you got it.
That's old school right there.
It ain't
So
tricking if you
what
got
That's
I'm
it.
kind of true. That
saying
is
is-
true though. At the
Oh,
same
you-
time.
What I'm
she trying
saying
to do
is,
me.
you do the most for women that will be happy with McDonald's.
Right.
Hey, I've been guilty of it. My mama say, make sure she knows what to come back to.
But is she worth coming back?
Yeah. Fuck that. Moving on.
Get your
ass out of here.
Moving on.
No, hey, Tosh.
So let's talk about
Tosh,
moving
Tosh,
on.
All right.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about moving
about
on.
moving
Okay,
No,
for
because
sure.
Tasha gonna try to do me, so let me throw your ass under the bus right
might
now.
be done already.
So Tasha,
No, seriously,
No,
it
you
wasn't
trying to really do me.
No, I'm not. It wasn't an attack because it's
what
like
the hell that sound like?
I'm talking
That
about
just
the
sound like
women.
Honest
that.
opinion, maybe.
It wasn't
Yeah,
an
it was
attack
an
at
honest
you.
opinion.
I didn't. Listen. Let's scale back.
You mad because I killed it?
Let's scale back because I said you're a gentleman. I said you're a gentleman, right?
Right.
And I said that you give women A1
You
treatment.
say you finesse hoes.
You said
But
on
that's
this show,
beautiful.
but you said on this show, and you tell us all the women, the bad
Sleeping
versions
over
of
there in
women
their house.
that you
just,
then came across. So I come to the conclusion
Yeah.
that
I
they
never knew how to separate the full throttle.
But
I
so
didn't separate the
I'm
full
not throwing
throttle.
you under the bus. I'm saying you're a gentleman and you're being like my dad told me. You do all the right shit for the wrong people.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just say it like
Good
that?
point.
I didn't know you would get defensive.
Did
Okay.
Who
you?
the hell wouldn't?
Let's moving
Your
on.
ass out of here.
Constructive
Moving
criticism
on.
ain't hurt nobody.
When I said moving
You know
on,
what? You know what? I ain't no damn moving on right now. But no, for real though, real true. Hey, I've been guilty of it for real.
we all have.
I have been
We all
guilty
have.
of it, of taking the wrong element of woman and putting her in the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
And she didn't know how to
everybody has
appreciate
in a
it
sense.
or
I
uphold
did.
it. Right.
Huh?
Putting energy where it doesn't belong.
Right.
You damn right.
That's what
I
he
said
done.
we all have did it.
You
So
gotta keep the mic close to you.
we're
Now-
all guilty of that.
With that being said, do you have regrets of what you've done?
Wait, you say, do I have regrets for what I've done?
Yeah. Have you moved on?
Or what do you mean? When you say, do you have regrets of what you've done? Like
What
as
you
far
had
as-
done?
No,
Are
I
you
don't. I
done
don't
with it?
necessarily have any regrets myself. It's a good learning curve. I'm
It's a good
cool
learning
with it
curve.
because guess what? That's a part of your healing. If
Right.
you have actually started moving forward and moving on in your life, you can address where you need to heal at.
Right.
So like the stuff she bringing up, shit. If I'm guilty, I'm guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But for her to just throw it out there on air, like, hey, now everybody gonna start hitting me up. Hey, what you got on
But
that?
you're in a different mindset now.
You
So
damn
it's-
right I am.
But the thing is, sometimes we get in a habit of moving on before we healed. We get
Yeah.
in a habit of moving on before we self-reflect and see, why am I still making these fucked up choices? Relationship
Real talk.
after relationship after relationship. The
I'm
only
guilty.
common denominator in every relationship is you. So
Real
if
talk.
you don't take the time out in between the relationships and heal and get to a place where you can really analyze yourself and your situation and understand why you keep fucking up, it's going to continue to happen.
Real talk.
To bounce back off of that real quick, that is so true. And the downside is that we mostly won't learn that until you go through it. Because most
Yeah.
of us won't learn it. You're not taught that kind of game from your parents or your uncles or aunties. It's
Real
like
talk.
you go through this. And the messed up part about it is that when most people go through that, typical things happen. One, children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Off top.
That's
Because
off
we're out here
top.
fucking.
That's off top.
That's gonna happen, right? Kids happen, and then now you end up having children multiple places.
Real talk.
Not having that steady home of a mother and a father at the same time, or just ended up with one, and that's usually because we just don't know no better. Because you might have been taught better. And some people learn quicker than others. Like, man, I don't want that to happen again. And some people, this,
Yeah.
whether it be a man or a woman,
Real
make the same
talk.
mistake over. Like, 'cause you can sit here and judge all you want to. It's like, girl, you got 10 kids, you this age.
Real talk.
Or you're a man,
Right.
you got this many kids with this age. How can you judge?
A lot of people
You dig
put
what I'm
that
saying?
judgment stigma on a lot of people as well, based upon what you don't know. So, like how we having this dialogue right now, for me personally, I would get offended because of the fact I've spent all my life with people taking shots at you, and nobody taking you and walking you through the process.
No.
I take offense to that. Everybody got an opinion and nobody got fucking experience.
It's called constructive, destructive criticism.
Thank you, destructive. And so what a lot of people is doing is that they give more blows, more and more blows. I'll have relatives say, "Oh, if you get with another woman, let me judge them. Let me help you critique them."
But in the meantime, all their relationships are fucked up.
Their relationships are effed up. But then at the same time, you bring the person over like, okay, what do you think? Why would you bring a motherfucker to my house? All you want is hoes in your life. Well, I'm trying to make sure I don't get another hoe in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, they hit you with the BS, man. Because here's the reality is, just like Daniel was just saying, a lot of us want guidance. A lot of our generations want and need guidance, but we run into a lot of the tear down criticism.
Or you're getting guidance from people that are broken themselves. So how can you guide me and your life is fucked up?
Your life is all fucked.
But in mentally though, do you really know that their life is jacked up? If this is what you've been raised around, right? I've been raised around, this is my mom, my aunt, my uncles, and I trust I validate what they have to say. I trust their words, and everything that they tell me is all wrong. So now everything we do, we operate out of desperation.
Yeah.
We operate out of desperation, and we're not taught to just be hungry. And what I mean by be hungry is take your time, cook. Out of desperation, I'm rushing. I need it today. I need it tomorrow. I need to be in love tomorrow. I need the family tomorrow. And we haven't been guided on just take your time. So now moving on from being hurt and broken, who's really walking you through the process in your corner to say, let's get through this? Or people just saying, you dumb as hell?
And then we have to come to the realization, because for me, I used to always seek out couples that were married 20 plus years, right? And get advice. Like, how did you guys do it? But then I stepped back and started looking at these marriages. Wait, he got kids outside of the marriage.
Very common.
So just because they're together don't mean it's a healthy relationship.
That is right.
It doesn't mean that it's a good marriage. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to stop doing this, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors. The only thing I can do is take accountability for myself, make sure that I'm the best me. So when I do encounter my next husband, that he's getting the best version of me. So I'm gonna go ahead and deal with this childhood trauma. I'm gonna go ahead and deal with this fucking wall that I have up, and make sure that I tackle my issues. And hopefully, but by the time I'm done with my healing, I'm gonna encounter someone that's either in the process of his or at the end of his journey, and we can make this work, because we can't really put too much emphasis on people that been together for years.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
but you know, one of the craziest things of a lot of us is we wait for other people to validate us, and then they give us the wrong ideas or the wrong information. But we're too fearful to just acknowledge what we got to deal with. A lot of our fear will not allow us to acknowledge the issues that we have.
Personally.
So we want the validation from somebody else. Tell me if I'm doing right. Tell me if he's right. Tell me if she's wrong. And we get their opinions, and they're giving us, so we really allow people to keep us in a fearful position. Because we're too fearful to make the right decisions for ourselves a lot of times.
Well, so you don't trust your own judgment.
Yes.
You don't trust your own judgment because your past relationships or your whatever, and it all fell apart. So now you start like looking for validation, like, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right person? Is this the right move? Because now you don't have that confidence within yourself.
Yeah, and it justifies the things the choices that we do make, right? Because you're already fearful that you're going to make a bad decision. You're fearful that things are not going to work. So if the person gives you the wrong advice, you can stay in your comfort zone. You can stay fearful. I don't really have to worry.
What were you going to say, Ron?
I'm just saying, this is just me. My wife was having some problems this week. Believe it or not, I was saying, well, if something happened to my wife, I'm going back to the same prostitute that I first met her with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at Clevonne's face.
Can I fall out now?
Can I fall out now? For that number. I was looking for the number. I couldn't find her number.
Ron, you sure this is going on air?
That's
all right?
okay.
This is going, okay. But
that's
wait,
okay.
Listen to what
we
you just
grown
said.
Folk.
No, I want
Thank you. Thank you, D.
I'm listening.
No, but I want you to hear what you just said. And
I said, and I will repeat, my wife was going through some stuff this week, and I was like fearful. So I said, damn, I need a backup. So I was looking for the old prostitute.
But hear me
Bro,
out.
I've never been attracted to a prostitute.
No, that's
No, you gotta understand.
Go ahead.
You can get a
Can we
prostitute
scale
that'd be a
back?
good
Wait,
prostitute.
go ahead.
He said,
Tosh.
if something happens to my wife, so I'm assuming you're talking about death. right?
If it was happening, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going back to the old prostitute.
So instead of this man saying, let me put, I don't know, maybe I'm going to have to plan a funeral or something, your first instinct or your first mind was, let me find that old prostitute?
Yeah, because I know she'll help me with the funeral.
Oh, my God.
He was covering bases. You know?
Covering bases, baby. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying.
Like I just said, somebody that's validating his fears. He's gonna regress.
Hey, moving on.
But
Now,
the
I'll be
crazy
damned
part,
if I go that
hold on.
far back.
My dude said, and I said what I said.
That's right.
But she
That's
cool with
right.
it though.
Yeah.
She cool with his choices.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in order for us to move on and just have, you got to be desensitized to certain things, baby. You can't let, like, family is jacked up, especially 20-year-old marriage people. Sometimes they would disillusion your ass.
True.
Oh, do it this way, but meanwhile, he's slapping her in the house.
Real talk. You ain't never
Do you
lied
have a
about
fear
that.
of being alone?
No, I don't.
You sure? Because you said I have to have a plan B in case she dies.
No, I didn't say I have to have a plan B. I said if something was to happen, I'm going to go look for her. So with looking, there's an action. I got to put the left foot in front of the right foot. Meanwhile, I'm going to sit down and drink some sparkless water because I'm still looking for that one prostitute that was right to me and true to me. She going to help me plan it. Go ahead.
A lot of people do struggle with being alone. Real talk.
That's
That's
the
a
reason
lot of
about moving
People
on.
do
Yeah.
struggle with being alone. And here's the thing. A lot of people come to me and say, just be by yourself, be alone.
No.
Man, I need some cat. It's hard being by yourself. So ain't nobody telling you the process of being by yourself. So I'm over here on a hunt
But
for somebody to lay next to and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that because
Ron, it's like you say that, right? You say that. Because you get on here, you say, I'm just looking for some cat. But
Wait,
what I'm saying, no, hear
I
me.
was making a point.
Oh, okay. Because
I was,
I'm like,
oh my God.
Well, I'm talking literal.
Tasha, I was making a point.
no, I'm trying to get back to moving on. So I
talking
have a
literal.
question, but
Okay, go for it.
it's okay. Your defenses went up. You didn't let me
Go
get to the
your
question.
question. Go your
The
question.
question was like, when you say, I just need some cat, right? So in the process of moving on, do you think it's important to have someone just there for that area while you're trying to figure out what you're doing in between relationships? Or is it hard for you to just like pull back from everything and until you're ready for a commitment again?
That is a very tough question. It's a very important question because though women think men are so different, which we are very different from each other. That's just what it is.
Yes.
But sex brings emotions regardless. It's an emotional thing. It's an emotional connection. So it's hard to just say, I'm just going to have sex with someone and that's going to be that. You know,
Right.
like until this. Now, as a man, trained enough, I say trained enough, mature enough, old enough, we've been through it enough, you can do it. Just like I know women can too.
Right.
Probably at a young age. Because women do mature faster than men mentally. That's what they say. Right?
That's what they say.
I'm not going to say everybody, but on the
Right.
whole, I can
Right.
understand it. But I would like to say this as far as the moving on thing. It's two ways. It's two things as far as this moving on. One is like really important people in your life, family, stuff like that. There is no moving on. There's no healing from that.
Right.
I'm sorry to tell you. There's no healing from that. You just learn how to deal with it.
Because
But
they're
then-
there. Because your family is always going to be
Yeah,
there.
it's just this. You don't. Oh, I'm healed from that. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
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 Anyone who's lost someone major in their life understands what I'm saying.
With the
You just
losses.
learn how to deal with it eventually, right?
Right.
It never stops popping up in your head or popping up in your heart, right? Now, on a simpler level, when we talk about just relationship-wise, boyfriend, girlfriend, my mama taught me this. Time heals all wounds. And with the time she taught me that, I didn't want to hear the shit. I was going, I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm never going to get over this. But eventually I did.
Right.
Like, that's one thing about, we're talking about moving on. Time does heal wounds.
Yes, it does.
You know,
Yep.
now I can understand that wound staying longer if you fucked up and it was something good and you eventually come to your senses like, that was me.
Right.
Now I can understand that hurting longer because like, oh my God, I wish I could have that back. Might have the opportunity to, might not
Right.
have the opportunity to. But you learn better, you know, the more you know, the better you learn, the better you do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I believe the whole moving thing comes into play where, because you don't have to just move on to somebody else.
Right.
No,
It's
you don't.
good to be by yourself sometimes because you know what? This is the truth of the matter. I cannot make you happy.
No.
Exactly.
I can get into your happiness because you have to be happy within before you be happy with somebody else. That's just bullshit, ain't nothing. That's what it's going to have to be. Because if you're depending on another person to make you happy, you're going to be
Well,
the only one.
with
Very
Jay,
true.
it's an
Bottom
easy
line,
thing, right?
even if y'all are together,
Very true.
If you are together. And that's the part of actually coming, like, you got to get to a point where you can actually acknowledge, where you're falling short at, too. It's a part of you getting to know yourself. So moving on isn't necessarily just all jumping into another relationship. But here's the thing where a lot of people get stuck at. They just get stuck. They're supposed to have been dealing with themselves or whatever else, and the environment that a lot of people are in will set them backwards. If the environment that you're in is not pushing you for progression, it will set you backwards and get you stuck.
Right.
And so now you will operate more off a lot of fear of being able to go get what you need and move forward because everything around you is setting you backwards. Back to what we talked about with the church, right? Last week we were talking about the church.
Right.
And we talked about the fear that the church instills, the people surrounding it, and they encourage you not to get married. They encourage women not to get married. This is the community church issue. But if you're around that, how can you start moving forward to what you need? I need somebody on the same page with me, and you need somebody to guide you and train you or mentor you.
Right.
Be that support.
Okay.
But some people, man, let me tell you this, it's hard. Okay, since we having a real talk, y'all.
Moving on.
All right, we moving on.
Go
All right,
ahead.
this
Go
is in my
ahead. No,
past.
keep
This is
it
a
going.
long time ago. Long time ago, okay? So a lot of men would always refer their wives. I want you to work with my wife. I'm like, bro, I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
Yeah, bro, dude, listen.
Yeah.
Refer for what?
Come help her. Exactly.
Help her what?
You know how some people say, man, to go talk to my
don't
wife
know.
about
Yeah,
that.
but you
as a
never
man, I ain't
listen to
never
what he
heard people
said.
say,
When
"Don't
somebody
do about
say,
nothing."
hey,
Like,
go
bro,
talk to
So
that.
are you
Or
talking
now
about
my
when you
wife.
was in the church for like guidance or counseling?
Church
Or
outside of all
Man,
kinds
go
of
talk to my
elements.
wife
Yeah,
so she
people
can
be
do
like,
this
yeah,
better
talk
at
to
the
my
house.
wife,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah.
want my wife to come hang. What
Right.
what for? What for? So now the wife is sitting around me, and I'm like, oh hell, this
Is it
ain't
my
gonna
fault
come
she
out.
start liking me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish Jesse would do the same
Right.
thing you doing.
I wish he would have said it like you
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
it.
I
Right.
wish he was built the same way. Ain't my fault
Right.
that your man. So now here we go. It becomes man. What I know now, I would never do again.
So,
I would never do that crap again.
so
Make
am I
myself
wrong
available.
for wanting my favorite prostitute?
No, you're just human.
I'm just human.
Yeah, bro. You know what, man? You probably just thrilled off of all the great things y'all did together. I don't know, man. If your
Everybody
wife
got-
gonna let you have her, that's on
No,
y'all.
no. You didn't hear it.
I
Wife got to be
don't-
gone.
Yeah, wife gotta be
I mean,
gone. In
yeah,
this
go.
particular
Bro, you know
Yeah.
this is live now.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
much is her policy?
Oh, it's whoa.
You said
Now
what
you
about
talking about FBI stuff. We ain't talking about
I was gonna answer.
Get those chains off the door.
whoa.
The enemy is
I had to put a period on that real quick. I had a boop. I was like, whoa. Yeah, how much is her policy?
But seriously though, so I'm just saying, like, the element of moving on, like, how do people get to a point where they're actually able to move on and let go of the past? Because a lot of the times we run into things that I'm talking about, a lot of stuff just really break you down.
Yeah.
The stuff that you encounter with the people you've dealt with and that the relationship you had, it really break you down low key. And a lot of people always use this bull crap. Get over it. Really?
Yeah.
Get your ass out of my face with that bull.
For
Trying to
me,
get
I
over
found out it was easier for me to move on when I didn't prematurely leave the relationship. So a lot of times I would stay in a situation longer than I should have because I wanted to ensure that I wouldn't return to it. So I'll be already checked out of the relationship, but
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
tough,
end
man.
it until I knew I was completely
Until you
over
were
it.
sure.
You gotta listen to what she said about that. I've read that before, and that's very interesting. She says I was checked out, like she was still
She
with
was checked
them.
out. Yeah.
But you know,
See, but a
that's
lot
interesting.
of
That's
people,
so-
but can I
that's
say
powerful.
that? Go
That's
back to what
powerful.
we've grown up with, right? You've seen a lot of the older people in relationships, and they are checked out with each other, but they stay because of community regulations.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
community regulations say that they supposed to be together. Did y'all know Mr. Tommy and Miss Elma still together? And he hate her guts. He like, bring your fucking ass up in here.
And he got a 15-year-old son too.
Yeah, 15, somewhere
A
else.
couple of
Dead
them.
ass. I'm just
A
saying.
couple of them.
I'm
A
like,
couple
yeah.
of them.
And they don't know about him to the funeral.
Especially if you drive a
Which
Cadillac.
is the worst, right? Oh, that old Cadillac with the tire in the back of the
Don't
trunk.
drive no
that's on the
Cadillac.
trunk.
You got a
And
couple
y'all
of them.
know he's screwing your grandma. That is a challenge that a lot of people just don't know how to deal with, man. Like, when do you leave? When is the time to leave? And then when is the time that you start dealing with healing? A lot of people get it twisted because they get out of a relationship, right? Nobody knows when they're actual vulnerable. Like, when they actually are vulnerable. So it's like you just jump into something that sounds great. And man, I've been in some effed up relationships, like quickie relationships that lasted maybe like 3 hours.
Because it was filling a void.
It was filling a void. Man, it's the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst thing ever. Man, what you going to say, Daniel?
The truth of the matter is, I think even for us as adults and we have children, we have to teach our children, and even just for people coming up, that you got to know, you have to read a motherfucker's resume.
Yeah, that's the whole
You
point.
know what I'm saying?
Get close to your mic.
You have to read a motherfucker's resume.
That is true.
You can't just be hopping in and fucking with people like that. That's where the outside children come from, and disease,
Daniel,
and this and that and the other thing, and mistakes.
How many times do we take the time out to read somebody's resume?
But how many times have somebody set you down to guide you?
That's where we mess up at. We just don't give it that time.
Exactly.
But how many people have guided you to even look for that? That's what I'm saying.
But going back to our previous conversation, we talked about how people can set you up for failure through them helping you.
It's true.
Ain't nobody, you've never heard nobody except for Daniel and probably some other people that we know around us that have said, check their resume out. Has anybody literally said,
who in your community
I know
said
you
that?
like her? Nobody.
You know what? The grandmamas and stuff when we were kids, because now the value level is lowered.
Yes,
amongst people.
It is.
It could be, you know what? Because children start having children have children. Now it's children who have children. Where when we were younger, we all in the same age. When we were younger, you know, your grandmama, your great grandmama, they taught you the good game. You know, this is what you need to do. This is what's important.
Yes.
The grandfathers as well. Don't get me twisted. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was fixing cars, whether this is what a man needs to do, this is what a woman needs to do. There was a different value level. So now the value level isn't there.
I missed
everything's
that,
up for it's just up for grabs.
I missed that, bro. I'm sorry. I missed that.
And we take everything at face value, right? You have to dig deeper, because you can tell me all day long, you love me, but what does love mean to you? What does that look like?
Ooh, that's a good
because your definition of love and my definition of love
is
totally different. So if you tell me you love me, what does that mean to you? What does that look like?
Deep.
Because you can love me but not respect me. And I would much rather you respect me.
Yeah.
Because the respect isn't going anywhere unless I fuck that up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
That's every man's desire.
So it's like we jump into things because it sounds good. The resume might even look good, right? Because they can paint this picture.
You got to read that thing.
They can paint this picture, right? And it'll be good until their money run out. So when your money run out, do your character change?
Because you started off with
So that's right. God. So I was getting the best. I was getting the version of you when your bank account was nice. And when the funds are depleted, you're a completely different individual.
Man, hey, I ran into that. I ran into that.
Yeah, so we have to dig. Wow. It's like you really have to get to know individuals, right?
Right.
You have to know how they operate when their money's right. How they operate when it's not so right. Is the character, is the moral still the same?
Yeah.
I need to know how you apply yourself when pressure is on you.
I heard Tyler Perry put that out there one day. I don't know if you've heard this, but he's like, you need to know somebody in all 4 seasons, like before you marry him. You are so right, because so many people are so quick to want to get married and jump into stuff. You don't know nobody that quick.
Right.
No.
Because a lot of people don't even know
that quick. You don't know yourself that quick. You still, man, please. That's so true.
Hey, that's real talk. That's real talk. Actually, getting to that point.
So with that being said, do you think marriage counseling is always good, or relation counseling is always good to have or do before you get into something serious?
Outside of your friends and outside of your family and outside of your community
I think so. I think we need it,
It's needed.
I don't think it would be a bad idea.
It would help.
If both on the same accord, y'all both agree with that?
on the same page. I think it would help.
I think it helps if both people are willing to, but I think it's not always necessary, because if we have a line of communication open where I can speak open and be heard, and I give you the same respect to come to me like, baby, I don't like when you do this, and I'm not putting my defenses up and I'm willing to hear. I don't think that is always needed. But if there's somewhere we're both defensive in some area, then of course we need an unbiased party to step in.
Yes.
But if the lines of communication is open and flowing and we're willing to work together,
be good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's really needed. I definitely say it's definitely needed. But how do we get to a point where, all right, when you go into this dating phase, once again, I've been through some crazy dating websites and some people out there that need medication, right?
Yeah.
So I went out there, just like you saying, right? You try to formulate something with people and just being straightforward. Hey, I love Olive Garden. And they like only a weak ass pussy punk like Olive Garden.
Right.
What?
Right.
What the way? What? Yeah, exactly. I'm saying the same thing. Like, where the hell did that just come from? Oh, it's all good because I don't really deal with weak chumps. Well, your mammy weak. Now I just went left field. You know what I'm saying?
You just started with Olive Garden.
Forehead. Exactly. Walking her ass looking like Charles Barkley. Now I'm starting to go in
So
on her.
I'm assuming you got a lot of horror stories off of these dating websites.
I didn't have some bad situations. People say, that's why that junk pop up talking about, go over here. You can expedite your dating. Go to blacklove.com. Go to all this. And I go to that crap and I'm like, man, it's some bullshit. For real.
It's crazy to me because when you get on social media, any platform, you hear all these people validating or saying how good they are or what they're looking for. So everybody's single, everybody's looking for love, right? Mm-hmm. What is so hard to find? You know what I'm saying? If everyone's looking for the same thing, why is it so hard to find?
Good point.
It's very hard to find.
The answer is perspective.
Yeah, illusion of inclusion. Illusion of inclusion. Have you seen a chick? She got makeup on, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about, ooh, she look good.
With the makeup on.
And then, man, you get a glimpse without it. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this part.
I'm going to tell you a key to that, right? If you meet a woman, it's a difference where a woman's putting on makeup just because she's enhancing her beauty. Right? Mm-hmm. But if you encounter a woman that would not leave that door without putting makeup on, she has self-esteem issues. If you meet a woman that
most definitely
has to always present herself like made up, she doesn't feel beautiful inside.
That's fake to me. That's fake.
Let me tell you why that's important. If a woman doesn't feel beautiful in her natural state, all her insecurities are gonna be forced on you.
Period.
Yes. So even if a man is there just loving her, like he gives her the validation, she's still gonna be angry about the insecurity. Is that what you're saying?
Internal. You cannot fix that.
Now this is the thing though. Are you, as the partner, whether it be man or woman, are you strong enough to stick with that motherfucker?
That's real
to get through it. And are they strong enough to let you stick around?
Well, here comes the bank account.
I don't know,
I need to pay for counseling
all these years, so I don't know if I ever get to that point.
I need to pay for counseling.
Say it again, Clevonne?
I've been finessing hoes all these years, so I don't know. That's what I just learned about myself.
Or maybe have you been finessed?
Hell no, I ain't never been finessed. That's
you have been.
Do they know you coming? Do they know you coming?
They gonna give me head from the back.
No, I'm gonna tell you how you been finessed. And I'm only going off of previous shows where you said you would meet a woman, she would come in and cook for you, she would clean for you, and this is the
3-hour thing. Now I just talked about.
But this is the art of finessing. The person putting what. Because we enter into situations and we tell a person everything, what we're looking for, what we had in the past.
Real talk.
And you let the person know how to finesse you. So the first thing you say is, I'm looking for a stepmother for my kids. You be joking, but there's some truth to that. Right?
I'm going to say what's on the inside got to come out.
Because let's talk. A lot of men have this in their mind that women aren't good at the art of finessing.
Oh, they are. They're best killers.
They're masters at it.
Set dudes up.
They're masters at it, right?
Yes, right?
And I'm not even speaking about the makeup or the wigs or any of that. I'm speaking about feeling
on a base level.
Right. Yeah. I know, for instance, just by talking to you, if you got abandonment issues.
Got it.
I'm gonna tell you about the old me before I found the Lord. Right?
Now talking about me showing up at funerals, we got somebody else over here.
I'm being honest.
That was the Black Widow, right?
Okay, right. No, seriously. So say for instance, I meet you and you were like, my mom didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandmother, right? And she died early and my aunt took over, whatever. In my mind, you got abandonment issues. Mm-hmm. Right? True. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna smother you with time.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you.
I'm gonna call you. You hungry? You eat. Right? I'm going to be very nurturing to you.
Right.
I'm going to be very, very nurturing to you.
You did that to me. She said, I'm just playing. We just been having fun.
So I'm going to be very nurturing because what I want to do is get you attached to me.
Right.
Right? I'm going to get you attached to me because once I get you attached to me in my mind, I got them. Right? So it's a game. It really is a game. Now, this is before years of therapy because I was a broken individual.
Yeah.
So I would get you attached and then I would start to remove myself because it made me feel wanted. It validated my
At
need.
the time.
Because I was suffering for validation. I needed to feel needed, right? So then I would slowly start to detach myself from you. So that'll make you reach out to me more.
What about me? What about my feelings?
What I'm saying,
nothing.
Listen to what I said. This is when I was broken. So I would set you up to feel the need that I needed. So it wasn't about you. It was about me, right? So I would fill the void so you could fill my void. So and then when I got bored, I moved on.
Well, I was gonna say, did the men ever amount to it? That was my question. I was gonna ask.
So it sounds like I would be hurt as hell.
I would
be hurt.
I hurt people.
I know she's calling at 1:30, but it's 1:45.
It was really messed up. But this is really the downside of getting with people and moving in with people or giving the person your all and not checking the resume. Not saying
I'm guilty of that.
saying like. Okay, I would quit. I've been in therapy, 7 years now? Like, I would tell people, this is my journey. I'm healing. This is what I put it out there because we don't do that. And people will finesse us out of our money, out of our energy, out of our, you know what I'm saying? And leave you as a shell of a person.
Right.
So it's like, it's really important to really dig with the person you putting your time into.
That's deep.
You made it sound like, you ever seen the movie Alien? Mm-hmm. And those little scorpion things go in your mouth.
Yeah.
And then they suck all the life out of you to put
sucks
another.
Your energy. What it does.
No,
for real. Because what it is, you know what it does? It drains the energy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It drains your energy. So then I'm coming in like a vampire. I'm draining you up.
You like that? You like that crap?
Exactly, for real.
Hey.
Yeah. But men and women do this.
Yes, of course.
Men and women do this. And some people do it unintentionally. Like when I was doing it at the time, I didn't know that's what I was doing because I was fucked up in the head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It wasn't until after I got into therapy I realized I was doing that.
Tasha just gave me a thought. Think about this, right? And this is probably one of the bigger issues that's out there amongst men and women. Is women with daddy issues, right? Right. Yeah. That's probably way high on the list. It's just up there. Mm-hmm. Now, when a woman that has the daddy issues or whatnot, right? A lot of times we're gonna look at it and say, okay, well, the guy has the one with daddy issues. She might even call him daddy, which is very common. Mm-hmm. And just the way she treats him, I got control of that, bro. It's just she on him like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is he the one that's in control mostly? But with her saying the statement she just made makes me think about, well. She's maybe feeding her necessities off of you because she is missing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you could just be more or less just a tool. Because if you fall out of step as being daddy, in a sense, I could always find another daddy because they ain't got nothing to do with it being my blood daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you'll be pressurized.
You get what I'm saying?
You'll be going through some situation because you went out of whack.
Out of whack.
You went out of whack.
That's what's more important about knowing yourself. Like you said, you got to know your own resume. Because what if you ain't looked at your own shit in a while?
Right.
You're looking at it from when you was 20, but now you're 30.
But and that goes to another situation. I would say this, even before we actually move on, like you say, deal with your own shit.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of the men, for us that didn't have fathers there, man, we made some effed up mistakes for real.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times when women say daddy, right? Because I grew up with my father. I had a father, right? Mm-mm. Daddy issues. Be really careful with that because just because you have a father in the home or you meet a woman that has a father in the home doesn't mean she doesn't have daddy issues. You know what I mean? Right. And honestly, some women use the term daddy as an ego booster for the male because if I'm calling you daddy, right? What does that make me? Your baby. And what do you have to do? You have to take care of me.
No, I ain't into that.
You know what I mean? No.
That was psychological. I was fucking great right there. That was deep.
This is how
deep.
No, I know.
I'm calling you daddy, right? I'm putting you on a pedestal. You daddy. So I'm going to lower my tone when I talk to you like daddy. Notice how when a woman says it or when she says it, it's because she's trying to finesse you.
Oh, that's role playing for me, dude.
Yeah, I'm usually don't be calling me daddy. Don't call me daddy.
What I have to get you to understand is the mental game that some women play because I used to play them. So I'm going to call you daddy.
I'm going to have to say,
and I'm
going to come
and I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to call you daddy. But then a day or so later, I'm like, daddy, can you get my nails done?
For me, that's always been a turnoff. Seriously.
Yeah, it's been when a
woman do that, it's a huge turnoff. That's why you know, you just finesse a hoe. I meet you in the back of the trash can. We keep going.
That's right.
Wait. When she's finessing behind the trash can.
Look, because she trying to. Let me tell y'all something. Because craziest thing, man, I done did some crazy stuff where in the past I like even try to role play with women. You know, she like, come be the robber, and I'm like walking in there.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna be no daddy.
And this motherfucker strong as hell. Like, how the hell am I gonna get you wrapped up in this plastic? I'm talking about twisting and boxing, and I come in there naked, then she hit me in the nuts and stuff. What the hell going on here?
Real 625?
Yeah, exactly. I did try to reenact. That's in the past before I got married, though. Yeah, man, I tried some crazy stuff. So moving on, that's something I just ain't brought up in my present.
Get this wax off me.
The daddy
on the back.
Now some men do like that daddy thing. Some men do like,
some
call me
because it strokes their ego.
I'm not into that because that's like incest.
Yeah, for me, that it is. For real, it is. When a female does that, because I've had women do that, I swear to God. They be like, what you want, daddy? What you need? I'm like, not a damn thing.
Just call me
this relationship's over.
Just call me baby.
Like it psychologically, it cancels me out because I'm not into children. I'm not into boys.
Right.
I'm not into that.
It's all a mind game.
Listen, that part of the mind game. Call me
No,
Dick.
what I'm saying is, it's like now when you have,
Mr. T.
you know what I'm saying, when you have all
Richard.
these men running around quick to call a woman a queen.
No,
right?
A lot of them do it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's just a mind game. It's not cute at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Grand Rising, my queen. Exactly. All right, daddy.
But I know what she's saying, though. She's like, you
daddy.
become a queen, but she could be a peasant.
Yeah, what I'm saying is just the
real talk.
mind. It's like people try to play mind games with you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all mental. It's
feel
just all
good.
mental.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is interesting. So moving on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not be on none of those damn dating sites again. I'll pass. It ain't cool. And I ain't getting nowhere with half of that bull crap. So next subject.
Now, this is one of the things that helped me to move on. You know, I like Tasha, my counseling has gone down to once a month. It used to be 4 times a month, but now it's once a month. But my counselor, she's a brunt Jewish woman. And she said, this is what you need to think about to move on. When God, and I think I told y'all that, when God teaches you to put your shit back in your ass, that's when you can think about going back to the old person. If you you get the analogy, because that shit is gone. It's gone. It's going down the toilet. It's going down the drain. But when God says, "Run, grab that shit and stuff it back in your ass,"
Wow.
stuff it back in your ass. That may be the point that you say, "Well, okay, I'm not gonna move on. I'm gonna go through this adultery. I'm gonna go through this lambasting. I'm gonna go through this critical lifestyle." But once you go through life and cut it off, you should just cut it off and move on.
Some things you should be able to, and that's the part where we all got to get to a point where we just being honest with ourselves.
Yes.
Be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I really don't like macaroni and cheese. I like noodles. You know, like, just be honest with yourself where you stand. I'm making a joke, but truthfully, a lot of people are in this transition where it's time to move on and cut off things, cut off people, cut off situations. A lot of people don't know. We definitely got to wrap this up.
We're going to wrap it up because I want to go to, because what he just said triggered a scripture in the Bible, which is Proverbs 26:11.
Which is?
As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly.
Real talk.
So it's even in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying?
There's nothing new under the sun.
A lot of stuff is in your scripture. Like I said before, a lot of people got to kind of decode stuff, and a lot of stuff is just right there in your face. So, all right, for our final, real quick, what would you like to say, Ron?
I'm just saying, just keep it. You know, we go to bed as a noun, we must wake up as a verb. Keep it pushing. You know, you just got to keep it pushing. You're gonna have those little barricades. You're gonna have those walls, but sometimes we can jump the walls. Sometimes we can go around those barricades, which I suggest. Don't sit there and look at the walls. Keep it pushing, man. Move on with your life. Do what you have to do. Reach your goals. Make substance of yourself.
Daniel, awesome. What you want to say on this, my brother? Close to the mic. Speak into the microphone.
My last thought would be to work on making yourself happy.
Yeah.
rather than looking for it through outside sources, because you'll never find it. You know, once you're happy, you can be happy with someone else, even if they're not happy. And that's called strength. Yes. Because rather than being independent, we have to learn how to be interdependent. You know, which is the way God meant it to be anyway. That's why you got man and woman. That's why we can make children together and this, that, and other thing. But we have to be able to learn how to work together, whether it be good or bad. Yeah. For the good of good, if that makes sense.
Interdependent. First Lady?
Moving on is not just physical, it's mental. So a lot of times we leave the situation physically, but mentally we're still there. So you have to really put effort into getting your mental to catch up with your physical, because if you left the situation, but you're still thinking about it and you're still reacting to certain situations like you're still dealing with that same individual, you haven't really moved on. So don't fuck yourself around. Don't lie to yourself. You have to get your mental and your physical on the same track.
He say you gonna fuck around or you gonna send some help. Reverend Lowdown.
You smoke crack, don't you?
And so, hey, look at here. This is as we wrap it up, we just want to encourage everybody out there. If you're in a position where you're trying to move on, make it work for you. Once again, just make it work for you. Whatever works for you, make it work for you. And don't let nobody else deter you from what you need. We love you. We appreciate you all. We'll be back with you next week. Want to thank our guests. Thank you for joining in, flying in.
Thanks,
Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
Appreciate you. One of the #1 salesmen out there where he's at, out there slanging them sales, making that money.
Good stuff,
got
baby.
that dope money. Hey, we love you all. Till we all meet again. We'll see you. This is No Feelings, Just Facts. We'll see you next week.
Let's make it happen, y'all.